Hello, my name is Dennis Jackson, and I have made this video to introduce myself to all interested parties concerning my thoughts on the issues that are now confronting the United States of America. Very simply, I do not believe it is in the best interest of the United States for either Senator Obama or Senator McCain to be elected president. While Senator Obama has risen tremendously from his humble roots to obtain the nomination of his party, and Senator McCain has valiantly served his country in uniform, I do not believe that they represent the core values that are needed to resolve the problems facing the country and preserve for its citizens their rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I base my belief on the fact that neither candidate stands on the bedrock principles that made this country great and that past generations of Americans have firmly established as the foundation upon which to solve our problems and secure our future. The principles of personal liberty, individual responsibility and self-reliance, sovereignty, free enterprise, and a limit to the intrusion of government into our lives must be restored as guiding American doctrine. Examples of these bedrock principles that have either been outright rejected or, at best, reluctantly received by both candidates are fiscal responsibility, the bailout. The vast majority of Americans are against the ever-growing bailout that was recently approved to hopefully solve the financial crisis created by both congressional parties. Although Senator McCain raised his concerns about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac a few years ago, he was ineffective in gaining the support needed to correct and curtail the effects of the affirmative action lending practice known as subprime mortgages. As for Senator Obama, he wrote a letter to the Secretary of Treasury and talked to Wall Street about the risks associated with the subprime mortgages, but he too was totally inept in correcting the burgeoning problem. So, over 2 years ago, both Senator Obama and Senator McCain failed to lead the Congress to a solution once they saw the problem. Now they want to lead the country to solve the problem, but they offer no solution. However, they have voted against the will of the American people in this bailout, and they still believe that the government is the answer to this calamity of their own making. Both candidates advocate a socialistic approach to this crisis, and it will not work. Energy independence, the congressional oil drilling ban. Both senators maintain positions contrary to the will of most Americans to resume oil production until the price of oil hit nearly $150 per barrel in July. The huge outcry from Americans of all political persuasions was the catalyst needed to finally break the 30-year stranglehold embodied in the congressional ban on domestic oil production on both the East and West Coast. Initially, the party of Obama offered their own energy bill, but it was so severely derided that the Democrats capitulated by letting expire the congressional ban on drilling for oil. Prior to the decision to let the ban expire, both Senators McCain and Obama changed their long-held positions of supporting the ban. Senator McCain quit being the maverick and joined his fellow Republicans calling for the drill here, drill now approach, but even then he continued to cling to his decision not to drill in Anwar. Senator Obama, after initially offering consolation to the nation through tire gauge therapy, is still mocking the need to drill for oil as a long-term component of our energy independence solution. His ostrich approach would rely on the future alternative technologies to replace oil, rather than acknowledge and solve the very real problem that the demand for oil will be a problem for decades to come. As in the financial crisis, both candidates ignored the energy problem until it too became a crisis. Sovereignty, illegal immigration. Here also, both candidates' positions are totally opposite the common sense will of the vast majority of Americans. The travesty of legislation known last summer as McCain-Kennedy, which granted permanent legal status to all persons in this country illegally, whether they were criminals, workers, or on welfare, created one of the greatest upheavals of citizen protest in this country's history. The bill was eventually defeated, and neither Senator McCain nor Senator Obama have accepted the message from the American people. If elected, Senator McCain initially promised to secure the border first, and then, despite the strongly voiced will of Americans, he would pursue his comprehensive immigration plan. He now states that securing the border and commencing the writing of comprehensive legislation can be pursued simultaneously. It is little wonder which one of these will be completed first. As for Senator Obama, he is also an open borders candidate and will support the comprehensive pathway to citizenship reform and will expand the federal aid made available to illegal immigrants for education, medical, welfare, and other forms of assistance. The arrogance of both of these candidates in putting their desires for political gain ahead of the well-being of the citizens of this country whom they were elected to represent is truly stunning. With these and other departures from tried and true American principles, it appears that America is losing its way. More specifically, America is letting itself be led astray by leaders that think more of the ends than the means. The American dream is changing from individuals having the freedom to succeed or fail to a comatose state of guaranteed limited success of the masses granted by government. This surrender of sovereignty and individual responsibility cannot stand. I believe that America needs to rediscover its soul. To do so will require the country to do what we all have to do as we go through life, to take a thorough inventory of what we believe and how our actions either support or contradict those beliefs. This taking of personal inventory in beliefs and actions requires a reconciliation within ourselves that is often difficult and painful. America needs to go through its own reconciliation concerning the many serious issues confronting the country prior to the election. However, there is very little time left. For this reason, I have entered into the national debate. The argument could be made that the nearly 2-year-long presidential campaign has provided the time needed for the country to find its soul and nominees. In theory, I would agree that that is what should have taken place. However, like so many other Americans, I have not seen a candidate that truly represents what I believe and captures my trust. Toward that end, I have posted my positions on many of the issues that confront us today on my blog at dennisjackson2008.blogspot.com. I hope that you will read them and see if they are closer to your thoughts than the positions of either Senator Obama or Senator McCain. If you are in general agreement with my positions, send an email to me at dennisjackson2008@gmail.com stating your support and copy it to your favorite television news outlet or radio station. If you feel like I do and want to send a message to Senators Obama and McCain and seemingly have no method left to do so, and are frustrated by the lack of common sense concerning policy decisions that do not make America's sovereignty, security, and economy a top priority, if you feel like I do that doing nothing more than talking for the remaining weeks until the election is not an acceptable option for Americans that feel that their country is under attack from enemies both within and without, if you feel like I do and are frustrated that there is not a candidate available to truly give us a voice on many important issues that are core to our beliefs, then I offer myself as a write-in candidate for President of the United States. Now, I would prefer that another individual who is a well-known name would stand forth and give voice to what I feel is yet another silent majority. This named candidate would gain immediate national attention and provide a rallying point for like-minded voters. However, this named candidate would be viewed as a heretic, thereby committing an act of political or career suicide if not successful in winning the election. Therefore, a no-name is needed to raise once again the standard that so successfully won 2 world wars, the Cold War, and extended the light of liberty to a darkened world. A no-name who is willing to take on Senator Obama and Senator McCain and the political establishment to regain our country and force the debate on issues that are being conveniently ignored. We not only can influence the election at this point in time, we can change it. Although the old adage states that money is the milk of all politics, it is not money that casts the ballot. The ballot is cast by we the people. It is we the people that control this election. It is we the people that own this country, and it is time to take our country back. I believe if we return to our political roots and repudiate many of the policies that both the Republicans and Democrats have voted for in recent years, that the majority of Americans will vote for sovereignty, individual liberty, and self-reliance. I believe the vast majority of Americans do not want the nanny state that is being so seductively crafted by the candidates. I believe that the conditions are right for a groundswell of Americanism, and that the only reason it has not been embraced is because it has not been offered. I ask you to join me in this quest to take back the country from those who have forgotten their political heritage. I ask you to join me in this quest to secure the America that we grew up in for our children and grandchildren, protecting their freedoms as guaranteed in the Constitution and Bill of Rights. I was taught as a child by my father not to fight over petty things. But if the time comes that there is no other choice to protect your life, freedom, family, or good name, then you are justified. Such are the conditions that face us now. This fight must be made. If not by us, who? If not now, when? To delay is to surrender. Join me for the fight of our lives and for the lives of our children.